bunch of different movies here. The first one we will be talking about is Love Goals on Netflix. Came out on July 15th, and we were able to watch it, and we are here with a review. So to give you like a brief summary of this movie, we have the character Meenu, who is an amateur magician, and he is unlucky to pretty much find love due to his inability to listen. And he's got some interesting family dynamics as well, as he has a father who was, once a famous soccer player with these big dreams to win the trophy for the local soccer tournament. And unfortunately, in his prime, was not able to get it, but his younger brother was actually able to take that trophy by forming a ragtag team. And then Meenu kind of like joins into the rest of the piece. And, he's this amateur magician, not really kind of fitting in with the rest of the family, but he falls in love with a local doctor and must win over her father in order to marry her. So we kind of get this, interesting dynamic. Like I love that Meenu is this magician. I think it kind of adds some comedic elements, and you can kind of see like some interesting like family dynamics as well when you take in for the rest of the family. But the biggest ultimate problem is that like right from the beginning, it's hard to pretty much like follow along. They kind of drop you right into the movie, and you're kind of having to kind of figure out. It's also 3 hours long, about 168 minutes, I believe. So if you're not able to kind of figure things out as you're going along, like can be pretty hard to keep up with everything that's going on. Lots of drama, lots of family dynamics happening. What are you thinking about this movie?
Okay, so I have to tell you, I started watching this movie, and when the movie started, I was like, okay, so this is a magician. He just doesn't listen to the other person, so he's got serious listening problems because he just decides stuff in his head, and he doesn't listen to the other person. So he has that issue. But the movie just oscillates between plots. So there's 3 hours, almost 3 hours of romance, then there's sports drama. Then I thought that, maybe it's a coming of age movie, or maybe there's this comedy happening on the side with people, and I'm like, okay, the slapstick. I just couldn't figure out what the movie was about. The biggest problem with this entire movie is that it was so difficult to figure out what exactly the story was and what were they trying to say. I mean, because they named it Love Goals here in the US, but they called it Jaadugar in India. Jaadugar means magician. So I was like, okay, magician, maybe it's about the magic that he does, because he's a magician. Maybe it's about his career, but then you call it Love Goals here in America. So okay, is it a love story? But it's not a love story. Um, it's for most of the movie, the story is about a guy who just doesn't think through things, or then after a while it's like, or is it about a magician who falls in love with his mentor's daughter, or is it about him overcoming his own hatred for football, or is it the choices he makes between football and magic? And I was like, WTF? What the hell?
Well, and
I
like
just what was this writer smoking
right.
when he was writing so many subplots that a normal person just gets confused. And after a while, I was like, okay, let me just fast forward this because I want to go back to watching my Korean drama. So I just couldn't deal with it after a while.
Some of those plots on their own could work out pretty well. Like, a romantic movie about a guy who like doesn't listen, right? Like there could definitely be some good character development that goes into that. Like you see this guy who's just messing up a lot of his relationships and, kind of meets this woman, he has to impress his father, and just like through that journey can kind of like overcome that problem. That would be a great plot. Or the family dynamic of how you have two soccer players and the other son does not like soccer at all and goes into becoming a magician, like that in its own kind of has some substance to become something pretty good as well. But as you said, this movie did not really pick on any of these. I mean, like the title itself, Love Goals, is combining both like the romantic part and the soccer part with the word goal in the title. But then you have the Indian titles, kind of making it seem that it's just all about him being a magician. So not really being able to stick to like one of these is ultimately what makes this movie so confusing. It's also really long too, and so you're just kind of being pulled in all these different directions as if you have rope tied to each limb, just like being pulled in a different direction as the film is taking many different plot points. So like, could it have been decent? I think so. Like there were some substance to these different like plot points, and I think if they really just stuck with one, it probably could have been a lot better than what we saw. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. I had high hopes from the movie because of this one actor, Jitendra Kumar, because I'd seen his other shows, and he's a phenomenal actor. He's not somebody that came from a lineage of actors. He's a trained actor. He's just phenomenal in his other shows. So I was seriously expecting a lot from him. um, and not only from him, but from a movie that is associated with him. But oh my God, just my heart just broke. So uh, watch it, don't watch it, stream it, script it, skip it. Oh gosh, you will not be able to handle it.
Watch it at
Of course,
1.5
my
speed.
other favorite actor, Javed Jaffrey, is in the movie as well, and what a waste of talent.
Agreed.